The moment I stepped through my parents' front door with my 7-year-old daughter Emma's hand in mine, I knew something was wrong. The Christmas tree lights seemed to dim as my mother's cold eyes landed on Emma, her lips curling into that familiar sneer I'd hoped never to see again. "Only good kids from proper families get presents here," she announced to the room full of relatives. "Your bastard child can get out." Emma's small hand trembled in my grip as tears rolled down her rosy cheeks. My father stood behind my mother, nodding his gray head in agreement. I felt my world cracking like thin ice beneath my feet, but I simply said, "Understood." With shaking fingers, I pulled out my phone and made a quick call while Emma pressed her face into my winter coat. 15 minutes passed in suffocating silence. The family continued decorating the tree and sipping eggnog as if nothing had happened, while Emma and I stood frozen near the doorway. My brother James avoided eye contact, focusing intently on hanging ornaments with his wife Maria. My sister Laura chatted loudly about her vacation plans, her voice artificially bright. The normalcy of it all made my stomach churn. Then came the knock. Mrs. Patterson. A man in a blue uniform stood at the door with a tablet in his hand. "I'm here to confirm the cancellation of the Thompson Estate renovation project. The $3.2 million contract." My mother's champagne glass slipped from her fingers, shattering on the hardwood floor. The room fell silent except for the Christmas music playing softly in the background. "What cancellation?" my father demanded, pushing past relatives to reach the door. "What renovation?" I stepped forward, keeping Emma protectively behind me. "The renovation of your home that was supposed to start after New Year's. I was planning to surprise you both for Christmas. New kitchen, expanded master suite, that sunroom Mom always dreamed about, plus a complete restoration of the historical features." My mother's face had gone from red to white. You were paying for all that." "Every penny," I confirmed. My company, Kara's Custom Homes, was going to handle the entire project, but since Emma isn't welcome here, neither is my money. "Your company?" Laura sputtered, nearly dropping her own drink. "Since when do you have a company?" I couldn't help the bitter laugh that escaped. "Since 7 years ago, right after Emma's father abandoned us. While you all were pretending we didn't exist, I was building something from nothing. Started with cleaning houses while Emma stayed with a neighbor. Then I learned basic carpentry from YouTube videos during her naps, took night classes in construction management while working 3 jobs. The delivery driver cleared his throat. "Ma'am, I need your signature to confirm the cancellation. The lumber yard wants to know if they should release the materials to another project." "What lumber yard?" James finally spoke, his voice strained. "Patterson Lumber." I replied, watching my family's faces register shock. "Yes, the biggest supplier in the state. Turns out when you pay your bills on time and treat people with respect, they remember you. Tom Patterson became my mentor. He's Emma's honorary grandfather, now shows up to every school play and soccer game." My mother found her voice. "This is ridiculous. You're lying. There's no way you could afford—" "The permits are already filed at City Hall," I interrupted. "You can check Monday morning. $12 million home improvement loan, approved by First National, though I was planning to pay cash to give you a debt-free retirement. Funny how banks love lending to successful business owners." Maria clutched James's arm, her face pale. "James, why didn't you tell them?" The room turned to stare at my brother. He straightened his shoulders, something fierce flashing in his eyes. "Tell them what? That I've been visiting Kara and Emma every Sunday for the past 4 years, that I've watched my niece grow into an amazing kid, while our parents poisoned every family gathering with their hatred. You've been seeing them," my father roared, "behind our backs." "Behind your backs?" James pulled out his phone with steady hands. "Like you went behind Kara's back to spread lies about her. Let me show you something." He connected his phone to the smart TV, and suddenly the room filled with my parents' voices from a video. They were at some country club function, drinks in hand, laughing with their friends. "Oh, we don't speak to our daughter anymore," my mother's recorded voice said cheerfully. "Got herself knocked up by some lowlife who ran off. We told her not to come crawling back to us for money. Standards matter, you know. Best decision we ever made, my father's voice added. No telling what kind of influence she'd be on James. He's got a real future ahead of him, not like her. The video changed to another event, another cruel conversation. Date stamps showed these were recorded over years. My parents trash-talking me to anyone who would listen, calling Emma names I wouldn't repeat, lying about offering help we'd rejected when they'd actually slammed the door in our faces. You recorded us. My mother's real voice was shrill now. Every single time, James confirmed, because I knew someday Kara would need proof of who you really are. Emma tugged on my sleeve. I bent down and she whispered in my ear, my brave girl trying to be strong. Mr. Delivery Driver, I said, straightening, please confirm the cancellation, all of it. The construction, the landscape design, the interior decoration. And please let them know to cancel the Gardner account at Patterson Lumber as well. Our account, my father stammered, but we've had that account for 30 years. Not anymore, I said simply. Tom Patterson values loyalty. When he finds out how you've treated his honorary granddaughter well, I suspect you'll need to drive 3 towns over for your lumber needs. My phone buzzed. Sarah, my business partner, was texting frantically. But before I could check it, James dropped his biggest bombshell yet. Mom, Dad, there's something else you should know. He squared his shoulders. I've been documenting everything for another reason. I'm writing a book about family dysfunction and how golden child syndrome destroys families. My therapist thought it would be therapeutic. Chapter 12 is about tonight. It was supposed to be about reconciliation. He looked at the shattered champagne glass on the floor, its pieces glittering like tears in the tree lights. Guess I'll need a different ending now. The silence that followed James's announcement was deafening. Maria suddenly burst into tears, her carefully applied makeup streaming down her face. She pulled away from James and stumbled toward the center of the room, her red dress catching on the coffee table. I can't do this anymore, she cried out. I can't keep pretending everything is perfect when it's all built on lies. Maria, honey, what are you talking about? James reached for her, but she spun away. Don't you see they've been controlling us too? Making us dance to their tune, keep their secrets, maintain their perfect image. Maria's voice cracked. But I know something that would shatter that image forever. My mother stepped forward, her face hard. Maria, you're hysterical. James, control your wife. Control her. James laughed bitterly. Like you've controlled all of us, no mom. Let her speak. Maria wiped her eyes, smearing mascara across her cheeks. 5 years ago, James was sick, really sick. The doctors wanted to test for a hereditary condition that runs in the Gardner family, so we did a DNA test. The room seemed to hold its breath. Even little Emma stopped fidgeting beside me. James isn't your biological son, Maria said, looking directly at my parents. He's not a Gardner at all. My mother lunged forward, but my father caught her arm. That's impossible. You're lying. The test results are in our safety deposit box, James said quietly. Along with the letters from Mom's college boyfriend, the ones I found in the attic when we were helping with spring cleaning. David Morrison, star quarterback, married someone else right after graduation because his parents didn't approve of Mom's family background. You went through my private things, my mother shrieked. The same way you went through mine when I was 16, James shot back. When you read my diary and found out I was thinking about contacting Kara after Emma was born. When you threatened to disown me too if I ever acknowledged my sister or niece. Laura gasped from her corner. They threatened you. Every day for a year, James confirmed. Said they'd cut off my college fund, write me out of the will, tell everyone I was unstable. Dad even threatened to call my boss and say I was stealing from the company. We were protecting you, my father insisted, but his voice had lost its authority. From knowing my sister is amazing, from watching my niece grow up, from understanding what real strength looks like. James pulled out a folder from behind the couch. I kept every threat, every manipulative text, every email where you tried to control me with money and fear. Emma suddenly spoke, her small voice cutting through the tension. "Mommy, why don't they like me?" Every adult in the room turned to look at her. My heart shattered seeing confusion in her innocent eyes. "It's not about you, sweetheart," I said, kneeling beside her. "Some people are just too scared to love freely." "But I made them a present," Emma said, pulling a crumpled drawing from her pocket. "It's our family tree from school. I put everyone on it, even them." I unfolded the paper with trembling hands. There was our little family branch, just Emma and me, but she'd drawn lines connecting us to grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. She'd given everyone smiling faces and written "my family" in purple crayon at the top. "The teacher said family is people who love each other," Emma continued. "I told her I love them even though I never met them properly. She said that was very grown up of me." Maria sobbed harder. "She included us all even though you've all been cowards," I finished. "Except James. He found his courage." My phone buzzed again. This time I looked at Sarah's messages. My eyes widened as I read. "That's interesting," I said slowly. "Sarah's been monitoring something online." "Monitoring what?" Laura asked nervously. I looked at Emma's tablet, the one I'd given her for educational videos. The screen was still on a small red dot in the corner, indicated it was recording. "Emma, honey, is your tablet making a video?" She nodded proudly. "For my holiday showcase at school, I wanted to show everyone my first real Christmas with grandparents. Mrs. Anderson said to capture special moments." My blood ran cold. "And is it just recording or—" "It's live," Emma beamed. "So my whole class can see Mrs. Anderson is watching and Principal Roberts and all the other families. 300 people are watching right now." The room exploded into chaos. My mother lunged for the tablet, but Emma darted behind me. My father shouted about lawsuits. Laura frantically called someone on her phone. But above it all, I heard the distinct ping of text messages flooding in. "Principal Roberts," I read from my phone, "says he's deeply concerned about what he's witnessing. Wants to discuss my mother's continued employment at the district office. Apparently, someone who shows such discrimination toward children shouldn't be working in school administration." My mother's face went from red to purple. "Turn it off. Turn it off now." "It's my project," Emma said stubbornly. "I'm supposed to share my family. This is my family, the real truth about my family." Maria stepped forward, her tears dry, now replaced by determination. "You want to know the whole truth, Emma. Your grandmother has been telling everyone at her work that she has the perfect family. She shows fake photos from years ago. She never mentions you or your mom. She pretends James and I have 3 kids instead of being unable to have children. She lives in a fantasy world. We've been trying for 8 years, James added softly. 8 years of treatments and disappointments, but Mom tells everyone we're being selfish, waiting for the perfect time. She'd rather lie than admit her perfect son isn't so perfect after all." Laura finally spoke up from her corner. "And I'm getting divorced, have been separated for 6 months. But I can't tell them because Mom threatened to blame me publicly, say I drove Robert away with my career ambitions. So I pretend everything's fine while sleeping in a studio apartment and crying myself to sleep." "Laura," my father barked, "this is family business." "What family?" Laura laughed bitterly. "The one where we all pretend, where we sacrifice truth for appearances, where a 7-year-old child is called names for existing." Emma looked up at me with wise eyes. "Mommy, are they all sad because they have to lie?" "Yes, baby," I said, smoothing her hair. "Lies make people very sad." "Then why don't they just tell the truth?" The question hung in the air like a judgment. My phone rang. The caller ID made my stomach drop. "It's Tom Patterson," I announced, "probably calling about the lumberyard situation." But when I answered, Tom's voice was gentle. "Kara, honey, I'm watching Emma's live stream with my wife. We just want you to know you and Emma have a home with us this Christmas. A real home where everyone's welcome and loved." "Thank you, Tom," I whispered, tears threatening. "Also," he continued loud enough for the room to hear, "I'm calling an emergency meeting of the lumber yard board. We don't do business with people who abuse children. The Gardner account is suspended effective immediately, and I'm calling my friends at the other suppliers too. My father grabbed the phone from my hand. Tom, this is Richard Gardner. There's been a misunderstanding. No misunderstanding. Tom's voice was firm through the speaker. I heard every word. So did 300 other people. You called that sweet little girl a terrible name. In my day, we had words for men who attacked children, and none of them were polite. He hung up. My father stared at the silent phone like it might bite him. Sarah's texts kept coming. Screenshots of comments from the live stream, parents expressing outrage, teachers calling for action, business owners recognizing my company name and offering support. The whole town is watching, I said quietly. Everyone you've lied to, everyone you've tried to impress, they're all seeing who you really are. My mother sank onto the couch, her perfect posture finally breaking. This is all your fault, she hissed at me. If you just stayed away. If I'd stayed away, you'd still be living in your bubble of lies, I countered. James would still be your prisoner. Laura would still be dying inside. Maria would still be keeping secrets that eat at her soul. Sometimes the truth has to hurt before it can heal. Emma tugged my sleeve again. Mommy, the viewer count went up. It says 500 now. Is that good? I looked at my daughter, my brave, innocent daughter who'd inadvertently exposed decades of toxicity with her simple desire to share her family truth. You know what, baby? I think it might be exactly what everyone needed. My phone exploded with notifications. Sarah's name flashed repeatedly across the screen as call after call came through. When I finally answered, her voice was breathless with panic and something else I couldn't quite identify. Kara, thank God I've been trying to reach you. The live stream is everywhere. It's not just Emma's school platform anymore. Someone shared it to the city's community Facebook page. The mayor's watching. The entire Chamber of Commerce is watching. 3 of our biggest clients are texting me right now. My knees felt weak. Our clients? Henderson Development, the ones we're building the new medical complex for. Ashfield Properties. And... She paused dramatically. The City Planning Commission. They're all watching your parents call Emma that horrible name. They're watching everything unfold. James stepped closer, concern etched on his face. Kara, what's wrong? My business, I whispered. Everything I've built. Sarah's voice crackled through the speaker. No, Kara, listen to me. Henderson just texted. He said, and I quote, any woman who stands up for her child like that is exactly who we want building our healthcare facilities. Character matters. He said that, there's more. The mayor wants to meet with you Monday about the affordable housing project. Apparently his own daughter was a single mom who faced discrimination. He's been looking for a construction company that understands the importance of family-friendly housing. Kara, this might actually help us get the contract. My mother stood up abruptly. This is ridiculous. You're destroying our reputation for what money contracts... Reputation. I turned on her. You mean the false one you've built, the one where you're the perfect grandparents to children who don't exist. Before she could respond, Emma's tablet chimed. More viewers. The comment section was scrolling so fast we couldn't read individual messages. Mrs. Patterson. Laura's phone was out now too. You might want to see this. The school district's official Facebook page just posted about conducting an investigation into discrimination by administrative staff. They're not naming names, but... My mother's face went ashen. They wouldn't dare. I've worked there for 20 years. 20 years of hiding who you really are, Maria added. Just like you made us all hide. Sarah's voice came through again. Kara, there's something else. Remember the sustainable building grant we applied for last month? The one that would fund our training program for single mothers entering construction. The one we thought was a long shot. Senator Williams is in the live stream comments. She wrote, this is exactly why we need programs supporting women entrepreneurs. Kara's Custom Homes exemplifies the values we want to promote. I think we might have just secured that grant. My father grabbed Emma's tablet, but she held on tight. Stop this immediately. It's my school project, Emma protested. "I'm showing my truth like Mrs. Anderson taught us." "Your truth is destroying us," he shouted. "Richard." James stepped between them. "You're scaring her. Back off." "Don't you tell me what to do in my own home? You're not even my real son." The words hung in the air like poison. James's face went white, then red. "You're right," he said quietly. "I'm not your biological son. But I've been more of a son to you than biology required. I've kept your secrets maintained, your image lived by your rules. And what did it get me? A life built on lies." Sarah's voice interrupted. "Kara, I hate to add to the drama, but you need to know something. 3 of our employees just texted. They're all single moms who face similar discrimination. They're saying if you need character witnesses for anything, they're ready to speak up. Also, Tom Patterson just posted in the comments that he's starting a fund for Emma's college education and invited other business owners to contribute." I felt tears building. He did. The comments are incredible. People are sharing their own stories of family rejection, workplace discrimination. Your story is resonating with hundreds of people. My mother tried one more time. "Please turn it off. We'll talk about this privately. We'll work something out." "Like we worked things out 7 years ago?" I asked. "When you told me I was dead to you? When you said Emma would never be a real gardener? When you chose your image over your daughter and granddaughter?" The doorbell rang. Everyone froze. Laura, closest to the door, peered through the peephole. "There's a news van outside." "Channel 8. Someone called through the door. "We're covering the story of the live stream that's going viral. Can we speak with Kara Patterson?" "No comment," my father shouted. But Emma, my brave little girl, called out. "My mommy built houses for families, good houses for people who need them." "Emma, shh." I tried to quiet her, but she was on a roll. "She works really hard and helps other mommies get jobs, too. She's the best mommy even though Grandma and Grandpa don't like us." Sarah laughed through the phone. "That kid is a natural spokesperson." Also, the Affordable Housing Coalition just shared the live stream with the comment, "This is why representation matters in construction." My phone buzzed with another call. The contact made my blood freeze. Connor Mitchell, Emma's father, the man who'd walked out on us 7 years ago and never looked back. "Sarah, I have to go. Connor's calling." Connor, after 7 years of silence. I let it go to voicemail, but the damage was done. My hands were shaking as his name flashed on my screen again and again. "Who's Connor?" Laura asked. "Emma's father." James answered when I couldn't. "The coward who abandoned them when Emma was born. The one Mom and Dad said was smart to run." Laura's voice was acidic. "The one they called a hero for not being trapped by an unwanted pregnancy." Emma looked up at me. "Is that my daddy calling?" Before I could answer, my mother's phone rang. She answered it eagerly, probably hoping for someone to save her from this nightmare. But her face changed as she listened. "Yes, Connor, she's here." She held the phone out to me, triumph gleaming in her eyes. "It's for you. Emma's father wants to talk." "I don't want..." "He says it's urgent. Something about seeing the live stream and wanting to make things right." Her smile was predatory. Isn't that wonderful? Emma might finally have a real father in her life. The room went silent except for the Christmas music still playing softly in the background. Everyone stared at me waiting. Emma's small hand found mine again, squeezing tight. "Put him on speaker," I said finally. "If he has something to say, everyone should hear it." My mother's smile widened as she hit the speaker button. Connor's smooth voice filled the room, the same voice that had once promised to love me forever. "Kara, it's been too long. I saw the live stream. Is that really our daughter? She's beautiful. I think it's time we talked about my role in her life." "Your role?" I kept my voice steady. "You signed away your rights 7 years ago." "About that." He chuckled, the sound making my skin crawl. "I've been talking to your parents for a few months now. They helped me understand that I was young, scared. But I'm established now. Successful. I think Emma deserves to know her father. Don't you?" My blood turned to ice. You've been talking to my parents. They reached out 6 months ago, said you were struggling, that Emma needed a father figure. They've been very helpful, very understanding about my past mistakes. I looked at my parents, seeing the truth in their guilty faces. They'd been planning this. While pretending I didn't exist, they'd been conspiring with the man who'd abandoned us. Connor, I said clearly, you made your choice 7 years ago. That choice is final. Actually, his voice turned harder, I've been consulting with a lawyer. Turns out those papers I signed might not be as binding as you think, especially since I've been sending money to an account your parents set up for Emma. Shows parental intent, you see. What account? I demanded. My mother lifted her chin. We set up a college fund for Emma. Connor's been contributing monthly. We were going to surprise you. $500 a month for 2 years, Connor confirmed. My lawyer says that shows I never truly abandoned my parental responsibilities. I'm flying in tomorrow. I think it's time Emma met her daddy. Emma pressed closer to me, her little body trembling. The tablet in her hands continued recording everything, broadcasting this new betrayal to hundreds of viewers. Oh, Connor added, as if just remembering, I saw your little company on the stream too. Quite impressive. I'm in commercial real estate now myself. Perhaps we should discuss a partnership, for Emma's sake, of course. The pieces clicked into place. The timing, the sudden interest, the monthly payments starting exactly when my company began making headlines in construction journals. You don't want Emma, I said flatly. You want my money. Our daughter deserves the best, he replied smoothly. A united family, a successful father. Think about what's best for her. Sarah's text flashed on my screen. OMG, please tell me the stream is getting this. This is evidence of conspiracy and fraud. I looked around the room, at my parents who'd orchestrated this betrayal, at my siblings finally seeing the full extent of our parents' manipulation, at Emma, whose innocence was being bartered like a commodity. Connor, I said, my voice strong and clear. Emma already has everything she needs. She doesn't need a father who sees her as a meal ticket, and she certainly doesn't need grandparents who would sell her out to the highest bidder. We'll see what the courts say about that, he threatened. I'll see you tomorrow, Kara, all of you. He hung up. The silence that followed was deafening. Then Emma spoke, her young voice cutting through everything. Mommy, I don't want a daddy who doesn't love me. Is that okay? I knelt down, pulling her into my arms. That's more than okay, baby. That's very, very smart. The live stream comments were going wild. The viewer count had passed 1,000, and somewhere in that digital crowd, the truth was spreading like wildfire. My parents had just revealed their ultimate betrayal on live video, and they had no idea what was coming next. The doorbell rang again before anyone could process Connor's threats. This time, my father yanked it open, ready to chase away reporters. Instead, a man in an expensive charcoal suit stood there, briefcase in hand, and smile sharp as a blade. Mr. Gardner, I'm Bradley Gardner, your nephew. I believe my client Connor Mitchell just called. I'm here to serve papers and discuss Emma's custody arrangement. My cousin Bradley, the one who'd always resented that my parents paid for his law school while telling everyone he'd earned scholarships. He stepped inside without invitation, his eyes scanning the room until they landed on me. Hello, Kara. Long time. His smile never reached his eyes. And this must be Emma. She looks just like her father. Emma shrank against me. I look like my mommy. Bradley. My father seemed confused. You're Connor's lawyer, but you're family. Family who knows exactly how this family operates, Bradley replied smoothly. Who better to navigate the Gardner dynamics than someone who's lived them? He set his briefcase on the coffee table, pulling out a thick manila envelope. Kara Patterson, you're being served. Mr. Mitchell is filing for shared custody of Emma Patterson Mitchell, recognition of paternal rights, and a reassessment of financial obligations given his 7 years of absence due to what we're terming temporary emotional distress. Emotional distress. James stepped forward. He abandoned them. Bradley's smile widened. He was a young man overwhelmed by impending fatherhood, but he's shown consistent interest through financial support to the account Mr. and Mrs. Gardner established. $24,000 over 2 years demonstrates clear parental intent. That money never reached us, I stated firmly. I've never seen a penny. The account exists, my mother interjected. We were managing it for Emma's future. How thoughtful, Bradley said. And it certainly helps our case. Connor has also been following Emma's progress through updates your parents provided. Photos, school reports, medical information. My stomach churned. They've been sending him information about Emma. Grandparents facilitating a relationship between father and child, Bradley confirmed. Very touching. The judge will love it. Laura's phone was out recording everything alongside Emma's ongoing live stream. This is insane. You're actually facilitating parental kidnapping. Such dramatic language, Bradley tisked. Connor simply wants to know his daughter, and given Kara's apparent financial success, it's only fair that support arrangements be reconsidered. After all, Emma deserves the best from both parents. He wants money, Maria said bluntly. This is extortion. Bradley pulled out another document. Mr. Mitchell is also prepared to file a civil suit regarding the construction business. He claims he provided emotional support and business guidance during the company's formation, making him entitled to a percentage of profits. That's a lie. The words exploded from me. He was gone before Emma was born. He never provided anything but pain. Do you have proof he wasn't involved? Phone records? Emails? Bradley's tone was conversational, but his eyes were calculating. Because we have sworn affidavits from Mr. and Mrs. Gardner stating they witnessed Connor's continued interest and support. You're asking them to lie under oath. James looked horrified. My father straightened his shoulders. It's not lying. Connor did express interest. We kept him informed as any caring grandparents would. Caring grandparents, Laura laughed bitterly. You just called Emma a bastard. Heat of the moment, my mother said quickly. We've always loved Emma. We just wanted what's best for her, a proper family structure. Emma's tablet chimed with notifications. The viewer count was climbing past 2,000. Comments flooded in faster than anyone could read. Sarah texted frantically, "Do not sign anything, lawyer en route." Bradley noticed the tablet. Is that recording? You should know that any recordings made without consent could be inadmissible in court. It's my school project, Emma said in a small voice, about families. How sweet. Bradley's tone was condescending. Though your mother should be careful about exploiting you for social media attention. Courts frown on that. That did it. Something inside me snapped into cold, clear focus. Bradley, before you continue, there's something you should know. I pulled out my phone. I've kept everything. Every text Connor sent before he left, begging me to get an abortion. Every email where he called Emma a mistake. The photos of him with his girlfriend at the hospital the day Emma was born, posting on Instagram about dodging a bullet. Bradley's smile faltered slightly. Ancient history. People change. I scrolled through my phone. What about his 3 marriages since then, all dissolved within a year? The restraining order from wife number 2. The fraud investigation in Arizona that mysteriously disappeared when he left the state. You've been stalking my client. No, Bradley. But when someone abandons your child, you make sure you know where they are, just in case they try something like this. I found what I was looking for. Oh, and here's my favorite. The vasectomy he got 2 years after Emma was born because, quote, I never want to be trapped by another gold-digging whore. The room went silent. Even the Christmas music seemed to pause. Maria suddenly stood up, walking to her purse in the corner. You know what? I'm done being quiet. She pulled out a thick folder. Bradley, you might want to see this before you continue. What is that? He tried to maintain his composure. Everything, Maria said simply. I've been working as a paralegal at Ferguson and Associates for 5 years. Did you know we specialize in family law? Did you know Connor Mitchell tried to hire us last year for another custody dispute in Nevada? With another child he abandoned. Bradley grabbed for the folder, but Maria held it back. There's more. Security footage from the hospital the night Emma was born. Connor was there, Bradley. He came to the maternity ward. Want to know what he did? That's privileged information, Bradley warned. Not anymore. Maria smiled grimly. See, Connor never paid our retainer, so he was never actually our client. But he did leave quite an impression. Should I tell everyone what's on that security footage, or would you like to withdraw your papers now? Connor himself chose that moment to call Bradley's phone. Bradley answered, turning away from the group. We could hear Connor's raised voice, but not his words. Yes, I'm at the house, Bradley said. No, we have a problem. They have information. More shouting from Connor's end. The live stream is still going. Over 2,000, yes, thousand. Bradley's voice cracked. Maybe we should reconsider. The shouting intensified. Bradley held the phone away from his ear, and Connor's voice became audible to everyone. I don't care what they have. That little brat is my meal ticket. Her mother's loaded now, and I want my cut. Those grandparents promised me. Bradley frantically tried to mute the call, but it was too late. Emma's tablet had captured every word. The comments section exploded with outrage. Connor, Bradley hissed into the phone. Shut up, you're on speaker. The whole internet can hear you. Dead silence from Connor's end. Then the line went dead. Bradley stood there, face-flushed papers still in his hand. This isn't... My client is understandably emotional. Your client just admitted to fraud on a live stream with 3,000 witnesses, I said calmly. Would you like to continue serving those papers? He looked around the room desperately. My parents had sunk onto the couch, faces gray. James stood protective near Maria. Laura kept recording. And Emma. Emma stepped forward all 4 feet of her and looked up at Bradley. My mommy says lying is wrong. You're helping someone lie. That makes you a bad lawyer. You can't. A child doesn't understand. I understand, Emma said clearly. That man doesn't love me. He wants mommy's money, and you're helping him. That's mean. Bradley's hands shook as he shoved papers back into his briefcase. This isn't over. Connor has rights. Connor has nothing, Maria interrupted. Because I haven't told you the best part about that security footage. She pulled out a small flash drive. Should we watch it together? See what Connor did when he came to the hospital? That won't be necessary, Bradley said quickly, backing toward the door. Oh, but I think it is, Maria insisted. Everyone should see what kind of father Connor really is. She plugged the drive into the smart TV. The live stream audience was about to see everything. The security footage was grainy but clear enough. There was Connor, 7 years younger, walking into the maternity ward with another man. They were laughing, clearly drunk. The timestamp showed 3:27 a.m., just hours after Emma was born. Turn it off, Bradley pleaded. But Maria let it play. Connor approached the nursery window, pointed at the babies, and made a crude gesture. Then he pulled out papers, signing them against the glass with a flourish. The other man high-fived him. They walked away, laughing, Connor tossing the papers at a nurse's station. Those were the papers where he signed away his rights, I said quietly. He was celebrating getting rid of us. The comments on the live stream were volcanic. People sharing the feed, tagging news outlets, demanding justice. The viewer count passed 5,000. Bradley fled without another word, his car peeling out of the driveway. My parents sat in stunned silence, their conspiracy crumbling around them. But Maria wasn't done. She turned to my parents with steel in her eyes. You want to know the real irony? Connor tried to pull this same scam on 2 other women, both single mothers who became successful after he left. You're not special. You're just his latest marks. And you helped him, James added, staring at our parents. You helped a con artist try to steal from your own daughter and granddaughter. My phone rang. Sarah's name flashed on the screen. The lawyer's here, she said when I answered. But I don't think you need him anymore. The whole city just watched Connor and Bradley self-destruct. Also, the FBI wants to talk to you." The FBI? Turns out Connor's under investigation for wire fraud in 3 states. This live stream just gave them evidence they've been looking for. "Kara, you and Emma are safe. He's going to jail." I looked at Emma, who was watching everything with those wise eyes of hers. "Did we win, Mommy?" "Yeah, baby, I think we did." But the night wasn't over yet. There were more revelations to come, and my parents' perfect world was about to crumble completely. My phone buzzed with an incoming video call from my company's board of directors. My heart sank, seeing all 5 faces on the screen, their expressions serious. An emergency board meeting at 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve could only mean disaster. "Gentlemen," I answered, trying to keep my voice steady while Emma clung to my side. "I can explain." "No need," Chairman Roberts interrupted. "We've been watching the live stream, all of us, our families too." My stomach dropped. This was it. Everything I'd built was about to disappear because of one horrible family dinner. "We've called this emergency meeting to address some serious concerns," Roberts continued. "Specifically, the conspiracy we've uncovered involving your parents and Connor Mitchell." "Conspiracy," I echoed. 3 months ago, your parents approached several board members privately," Board member Harrison revealed. "They claimed to be silent partners in your company, said they'd invested family money to help you start the business. They had documents." My blood ran cold. "What documents?" "Forged incorporation papers listing them as 40% stakeholders." Roberts pulled up a file on screen. "Very convincing forgeries. They wanted us to support a motion to bring Connor Mitchell on as CFO, claiming he had power of attorney over their shares." "That's impossible. They never gave me a penny." The room spun around me. "We know," Harrison said gently. "We did our due diligence. The forensic accountant found discrepancies immediately, but we wanted to see how far they'd take it." Board member Chen spoke up. "We've been monitoring their activities. They've approached 6 of your major clients with the same story. They've been trying to orchestrate a hostile takeover from the inside." James grabbed a chair for support. "Our parents tried to steal Kara's company, with Connor Mitchell as their front man," Roberts confirmed. "The plan was simple: establish false ownership, install Connor in a position of power, then gradually push Kara out. They'd already drawn up profit distribution plans, giving themselves and Connor 70% of your earnings." Emma looked up at me confused. "Grandma and Grandpa wanted to take your work." "Appears so, sweetheart," I managed to say. "But that's stealing," Emma protested. "Stealing is wrong." "Yes, it is," Roberts agreed, his expression softening as he looked at Emma through the screen. "Which is why we contacted the FBI last month. Corporate fraud is a federal offense." As if on cue, the doorbell rang. This time it wasn't reporters or Connor's lawyer. 2 FBI agents stood there, badges out, with local police behind them. "FBI, we're looking for Richard and Patricia Gardner. We have warrants." My father stood up, blustering. "This is ridiculous. We're their parents. We had every right to commit fraud." Agent Martinez entered, her partner close behind. "Wire fraud, forgery, conspiracy to commit corporate theft. Should I continue?" "You can't prove anything," my mother said, but her voice shook. "Actually," Agent Martinez pulled out a tablet, "this live stream has been enormously helpful. Your confession to establishing a bank account in your granddaughter's name without parental consent, your admission to facilitating Connor Mitchell's fraudulent custody claim, and these lovely documents." She held up evidence bags containing paperwork. "Found these in your home office when we executed the search warrant an hour ago. Forged incorporation papers, fraudulent contracts, even a fake will, claiming Kara left everything to you in case of her death." "You plan to kill me," I gasped. "No," my father protested, "just insurance. In case something happened." "In case you made something happen," James said coldly. "My God, who are you people, Maria stepped forward with another folder. "There's more. I've been collecting evidence for months, hoping I was wrong. They've been siphoning money from James's trust fund, the one from your grandmother. Small amounts, but consistent. $70,000 over 5 years. My trust fund, James looked sick. But we were using that for IVF treatments. Which is why you kept failing to have enough for the procedures, Maria said gently. I'm so sorry, honey. I didn't know how to tell you. Laura found her voice. They stole from their own son. Agent Martinez nodded to her partner, who stepped forward with handcuffs. Richard Gardner, Patricia Gardner, you're under arrest for wire fraud, conspiracy, forgery. Wait! My mother cried out. Connor made us do it. It was all his idea. Connor Mitchell is being arrested in his hotel as we speak, Agent Martinez informed them. He's already trying to flip on you. Apparently, you promised him $2 million from Kara's company profits. He has emails. As my parents were handcuffed, my father looked at me with desperate eyes. Kara, please, we're your parents. No, I said firmly. Parents protect their children. You tried to destroy me and steal from my daughter. You're nothing to us. Emma tugged my hand. Mommy or Grandma and Grandpa going to jail? Yes, baby. Good, she said simply. Jail is for people who do bad things. The agents led my parents out while the livestream audience watched in stunned silence. The viewer count had passed 7,000. Comments poured in supporting us, sharing their own stories of family betrayal and triumph. Chairman Roberts cleared his throat. Kara, there's one more thing. Given the circumstances and your incredible grace under pressure, the board has voted unanimously. We're approving the affordable housing project proposal, full funding your company as prime contractor. The whole project, it was worth $50 million over 5 years. Your story tonight showed us exactly who you are, Harrison added. Someone who protects the vulnerable, stands up to bullies, and builds from ashes. That's who we want building homes for families in need. Sarah's text lit up my phone. The mayor's office just called. You got it. The affordable housing project is yours. Also, 12 other companies want to discuss partnerships. Your story of overcoming adversity to build something meaningful has inspired the entire business community. But the surprises weren't over. Board member Thompson, who'd been quiet until now, spoke up. There's something else. Connor Mitchell's assets are being frozen as part of the fraud investigation. But investigators found something interesting. He's been bragging to investors about having a daughter using Emma's photos from your parents to seem like a family man. He raised capital based on being a devoted father. He used Emma to get money. I felt sick. $3.7 million in investments based on his family man image, Thompson confirmed. All of which will be subject to clawback. The FBI says you may have a civil case for damages. Emma looked at the screen. So the bad man pretended to love me to trick people. I'm afraid so, Robert said gently. Emma straightened her little shoulders. Then I'm glad he's going to jail too. Using kids to lie is extra wrong. My phone rang again. This time it was Tom Patterson. Kara, I've been watching with my whole family. We're so proud of you, sweetheart. Also, I've talked to 15 other business owners. We're creating the Emma Patterson Foundation for Single Mothers in Construction. Starting fund of $500,000. You'll be on the board helping other women build what you've built. Tears streamed down my face. In one night, I'd lost the family I was born into, but gained a community that actually valued us. One last thing, Chairman Roberts said. Your cousin, Bradley Gardner. His law license is under review. The Bar Association was watching too, facilitating fraudulent custody claims while knowing about federal investigations. His career is over. James sank into a chair, overwhelmed. They destroyed everything. Our whole family gone. No, Maria said firmly, taking his hand. The toxic part is gone. We're still here. Laura's here. Kara and Emma are here. We can build something real now. Laura nodded, tears in her eyes. No more pretending. No more lies. The FBI agents returned for final statements and evidence collection. The live stream kept rolling, documenting everything. The comment count passed 50,000. News outlets were picking up the story. Single mom exposes family fraud ring on Christmas Eve was already trending. But through it all, Emma stood strong beside me, my little warrior who'd started this avalanche of truth with her innocent school project. "Mommy," she whispered, "are you sad about Grandma and Grandpa?" I knelt down to her level. "I'm sad about who they chose to be, but I'm not sad they're gone. Sometimes, baby, the family you're born into isn't the family you're meant to have. Like Tom and Sarah and all the people helping us, exactly like that." The mayor himself appeared in the live stream comments. "Kara Patterson represents the best of our city. Her company will build homes for families who need them most. Character matters more than DNA." As police and FBI cleared out taking evidence and statements, my phone showed text after text of support. Business partners, employees, clients, strangers moved by our story. The family I'd built through hard work and integrity was rallying around us. My parents had tried to steal everything. Instead, they'd revealed the true wealth I'd accumulated, a community that valued honesty, hard work, and protecting children above all else. But there was still one more shoe to drop, and it would change everything we thought we knew about our family's past. As the FBI agents finished collecting evidence, Emma walked over to the Christmas tree where the family present sat unopened. She picked up a small wrapped box and carried it to where my mother's purse had been left behind in the chaos. "Mommy, can I still give Grandma her present, even if she's going to jail?" My heart broke. "What present, baby?" Emma carefully unwrapped the box herself, revealing a handmade photo album. "I made it at school. Mrs. Anderson helped me print the pictures." She opened it and I gasped. Page after page of photos I'd never seen before. Emma at her first birthday party with just the two of us. Her first day of preschool. Science fair victories, soccer games, school plays. Each photo had a caption in Emma's careful handwriting. "My first birthday. Wish you were here. I won first place. Mommy was so proud. Learning to ride my bike. Mommy ran beside me. Christmas morning. Santa found our apartment." But it wasn't just photos of Emma. She'd included pictures of me, too. Receiving my contractor's license. Breaking ground on our first major project. The ribbon cutting at the women's shelter we'd built at cost. The day I was named Businesswoman of the Year by the Chamber of Commerce. "Where did you get all these?" I asked, tears streaming. "Uncle James helped," Emma said simply. "He's been taking pictures when he visits. He said maybe someday Grandma and Grandpa would want to see what they missed." James stepped forward, his own eyes wet. "I documented everything, every milestone, every achievement. I kept hoping. I kept thinking maybe one day they'd change their minds." The last page of the album made everyone gasp. It was a photo of a much younger woman holding a baby with a handwritten letter tucked into the photo sleeve. "That's Grandma Gardner," Laura exclaimed. "Our father's mother. But Mom and Dad said she died years ago." James's face went pale. "She didn't die. I've been paying for her care at Sunset Manor for the past 5 years." What Laura and I spoke in unison. "She has dementia," James explained. "Mom and Dad put her in the cheapest facility they could find and told everyone she died. They were too embarrassed to admit they'd abandoned her. But the facility was horrible, so I moved her to a better place. Used my trust fund money." "The money they were stealing," Maria added softly. "They were stealing from you while you were paying for their mother." Laura looked sick. James pulled out his phone. "There's more. Grandma has lucid moments. Last month, she was clear for almost a whole day. She asked about all of us, especially Kara. She knew about Emma. She knew everything." "How?" I told her. "Every visit for 5 years. Sometimes she remembered, sometimes she didn't. But last month, she remembered everything. She had her lawyer come to the facility." James took a shaky breath. "She changed her will. Changed it to what I asked. She left everything to Emma, the entire Gardner estate, the properties, the investments, the family business shares, everything our parents have been living off of. It's all Emma's. They just don't know it yet." The live stream audience was riveted. Comments flooded in faster than ever. The viewer count passed 10,000. When does the will take effect? Laura asked. Grandma may have dementia, but she's still alive, James said, which means our parents have been living off assets that aren't actually theirs anymore. Every penny they've spent in the last month is technically theft from Emma's inheritance. Maria connected the dots first. The FBI will find this during the asset investigation. They'll discover your parents have been spending money that belongs to Emma. That's additional fraud charges. How much are we talking about? I asked, though I wasn't sure I wanted to know. The estate is worth about $50 million, James said quietly, plus the family business shares, which are worth another $20 million based on current valuations. Emma looked up at me confused. Mommy, what does that mean? It means your great-grandmother loves you very much, I said softly. James's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen and smiled. She's awake. Grandma's having a clear moment. The nurses say we can video call. Now, Laura asked. But it's Christmas Eve. She knows, James said. The nurses told her what day it is. She's asking for us, all of us. He connected the call and suddenly an elderly woman's face filled the screen. Her eyes were sharp and clear, nothing like the confused woman I'd been told about. James, dear boy, her voice was strong. Is Kara there? Is my great-granddaughter there? We're here, Grandma, I said, my voice cracking. Come closer to the screen, child. Let me see you both. Emma and I moved into view, Grandma Gardner's eyes filled with tears. Oh, you look just like your mother at that age, little one. What's your name? Emma, my daughter said clearly. Emma Patterson. Mommy says I'm named after her grandma. My mother's name was Emma, too, Grandma said softly. It's a strong name for a strong girl. Are you strong, Emma? Yes, I'm helping Mommy fight the bad people. Grandma's expression hardened. Yes, I've been watching. The nurses helped me find the live stream. I saw what Richard and Patricia did. I saw it all. Grandma, I'm so sorry, James began, but she cut him off. Don't apologize for them. They made their choices long ago. She focused on me. Kara, I need you to know something. I never agreed with how they treated you. When they told me you were pregnant and unmarried, I said, so what, a baby is a blessing. They told me you didn't want to see me anymore. They told me you were ashamed of me, I whispered. Never. Not for 1 second. Her voice was fierce. I fought them, but they had power of attorney. They moved me to that horrible place and told everyone I was dead, rather than admit they'd abandoned me just like they abandoned you. But James found you, Emma piped up. He's been taking care of you. Yes, he has. My brave grandson, the only one with a spine in that generation. Grandma smiled at James. Except for you, Kara, you've got Gardner steel in you even if Richard tried to break it. Is that why you changed your will? Laura asked. Grandma's smile turned sharp. That's one reason. The other is justice. Richard and Patricia have been living like royalty off money I earned, building the Gardner business from nothing. My husband and I worked 18-hour days to build that empire, and they've spent it on country clubs and cruel games. She coughed slightly, then continued. But you, Kara, you built your own empire, with a baby on your hip and no help from anyone. You're more of a gardener than either of them. So yes, I left it all to Emma, with you as trustee until she's 25. Grandma, that's too much. It's not enough, she interrupted. It doesn't make up for 7 years of them denying you family, but it's what I can do. The lawyers have already filed everything. It's ironclad. They can't touch a penny of it. The live stream comments were going crazy. People were crying, cheering, celebrating this moment of justice. The viewer count passed 15,000. There's one more thing, Grandma said, her voice getting tired. In my safe deposit box at First National, there's a letter Patricia wrote me 15 years ago. She was drunk at some charity function and confessed everything about James's real parentage. She begged me never to tell Richard. I kept it as insurance. Why didn't you ever use it? James asked. Because I loved you, dear boy. You were my grandson in every way that mattered. But now they've shown they deserve no mercy. She looked directly at the camera. "Agent Martinez, I know you're watching. That letter is evidence. My lawyer has authorization to give you access." "Grandma," Emma said suddenly, "will you come to our new Christmas? Mommy says we're making our own family now." "Oh, sweetheart," Grandma's voice broke. "I would love nothing more, but I need to tell you something important. Sometimes our minds get sick, just like our bodies. My mind is sick, and sometimes I forget things. I might not remember you tomorrow." "That's okay," Emma said simply. "I'll remember you, and I'll tell you about us every time so you can know us again." "You really are a special little girl," Grandma whispered. Then stronger, "Kara, there's a box in my room at the facility. James knows which one. It has all the photos and videos he's brought me over the years. I want Emma to have them, to know she was loved even when she couldn't see it." A nurse appeared in the background. "Mrs. Gardner, you need to rest now." "Wait," Grandma said urgently. "Kara promised me something. Raise Emma to know her worth doesn't come from the Gardner name or money. It comes from here." She touched her chest. "From the strength you've given her." "I promise," I whispered. "And Emma, you take care of your mommy. She's special just like you." "I will," Emma promised. "We take care of each other." That's all I needed to hear. Grandma smiled. "Merry Christmas, my dear ones. My true family." The call ended. The room was silent except for muffled sobs. Even the live stream comments had paused as if the entire audience was taking a moment to process what they'd witnessed. Then Emma walked back to the photo album she'd made. She carefully removed a blank page from the back and found a crayon. "What are you doing, baby?" I asked. "Making a new page," she said, concentrating hard. "For Great-Grandma Gardner, so she's in our book too." She drew a picture of all of us together, me, her James, Maria, Laura, and a smiling elderly woman in the middle. Above it, she wrote in her careful handwriting, "My great-grandma who loves me even when she forgets." The livestream viewer count hit 20,000. The comments were flooded with tears, emojis, and hearts. Someone had started. But the night wasn't over. There were still decisions to make, a future to plan, and a new kind of family to build from the ashes of the old. 6 months later, I stood in the kitchen of our new home, the one my company had built on the land Grandma Gardner had left us. The morning sun streamed through windows that faced the mountains, and I could hear Emma practicing piano in the next room. The melody was clear and confident, nothing like the timid child who had walked into my parents' house that horrible Christmas Eve. "Mommy, they're here!" Emma called out, racing to the front door. I wiped my hands on my apron and followed her. Today was special. Today we were hosting our first family gathering in our new home, but this time it was the family we had chosen. James and Maria arrived first Maria's belly round with the twins they'd conceived after finally having enough money for IVF thanks to recovering the stolen trust funds. The FBI had traced every penny my parents had taken, and it had all been returned with interest. "Auntie Kara," Maria hugged me tight. "The house is even more beautiful than the photos." "Uncle James," Emma launched herself at him. "Come see my room. I have a reading nook just like you said I should." Laura arrived next, looking happier than I'd seen her in years. Her divorce was final and she'd started her own marketing firm. "Sorry I'm late, I had to pick up someone special." Behind her, supported by a nurse but walking on her own, was Grandma Gardner. "Grandma!" Emma shrieked, running to her. "You remembered to come." How could I forget my best girl's special day? Grandma said, her eyes clear and bright. The new medication regimen had given her more good days than bad, and we'd made the most of every single one. Tom and Helen Patterson arrived with their arms full of presents, followed by Sarah and her family. My construction crew came in a convoy, their kids racing around the yard before they even made it inside. The mayor and his wife brought a proclamation declaring it Kara and Emma Patterson Day in the city, in recognition of our affordable housing project breaking ground ahead of schedule. But the biggest surprise was still to come. "Everyone, can I have your attention?" James called out once we'd all gathered in the great room. Before we eat, there's something we need to share." He pulled up a news article on his tablet and cast it to the TV screen. The headline made everyone gasp. "Former power couple sentenced to federal prison in fraud case." "They were sentenced yesterday," James explained. "Mom got 7 years, Dad got 10 because of the additional forgery charges. Connor Mitchell got 15 years and has to pay restitution to all his victims." "And Bradley?" Laura asked. "Disbarred and sentenced to 3 years. He's also been ordered to pay damages to Emma for emotional distress." Emma looked at the screen thoughtfully. "Are they sorry for what they did?" James hesitated. The judge asked them if they had anything to say. Dad stayed silent. Mom said her only regret was trusting the wrong people. "So no," Maria translated gently. "They're not sorry." Emma nodded. "That's sad for them. Being sorry helps you get better." Grandma reached for Emma's hand. "You're absolutely right, dear one. Shall we focus on happier things I believe someone mentioned? Presents." The mood lifted as Emma distributed gifts. She'd made something for everyone, crafts and drawings that showed how much she'd been thinking about each person. When she handed me mine, her eyes sparkled with excitement. "Open it, Mommy." Inside was a framed photo I'd never seen before. It showed Emma and me at the construction site of the women's shelter, both of us wearing hard hats, both covered in dust and grinning at the camera. "Uncle James took it," Emma explained. "He said it shows who we really are, builders." "We build more than houses," I said, hugging her close. "We build hope." "Speaking of building," Tom Patterson stood up, clearing his throat. "I have an announcement. The Emma Patterson Foundation has received its nonprofit status. We've raised $2.3 million and have identified our first 20 scholarship recipients. Single mothers who want to enter the construction trade will have full support childcare training tools and job placement." The room erupted in applause. Emma blushed but stood tall. And Sarah added, "Kara's Custom Homes has been selected for the state's Innovative Housing Award. The modular homes we designed for single-parent families are being adopted as a model nationwide." "We've also been contacted by 3 documentary filmmakers," Laura chimed in. "They want to tell your story. I've been fielding calls all week." "Our story," I corrected. "All of us. We all found the courage to break free from toxic patterns." To found families, someone called out, raising a glass of cider. To found families, we all echoed. As we settled in for dinner, I watched Emma move around the room completely at ease with all these people who loved her. She stopped to help Grandma Gardner with her plate, chatted with the mayor about her school's recycling program, and made sure every child had a place at the kids' table she'd helped design. "You did good, Kara," Grandma said softly beside me. "That little girl is going to change the world." "She already has," I replied. "She changed mine." After dinner, Emma stood up with a piece of paper in her hand. "I wrote something for school about what I learned this year. Can I read it?" "Of course, baby." Emma cleared her throat and began, "What I Learned About Families" by Emma Patterson, age 7 3/4. "I used to think families were just people who lived in the same house or had the same last name. But this year, I learned that's not true. Real families are people who show up when you need them. Real families tell the truth, even when it's hard. Real families protect each other from bad people, even if those bad people are also related to you. My mommy and I don't have a very big blood family anymore, but we have the biggest chosen family in the whole world. We have Uncle James, who visited us in secret and took pictures so we'd remember. We have Auntie Maria, who collected evidence to protect us. We have Aunt Laura, who stopped pretending everything was okay. We have Great-Grandma, who loved us even when she wasn't allowed to see us. We have Tom and Helen, who act like my grandparents. We have Sarah, who is Mommy's best friend and business partner. We have all the people Mommy works with who are teaching other mommies how to build houses. We have our whole city who watched us stand up to bullies and decided to stand with us. But most of all, we have each other, Mommy and me. We're a team. We build houses for people who need them, but we also built ourselves a new life when our old one was broken. Some people think it's sad that my other grandparents went to jail and that my father never wanted me. But I don't think it's sad. I think it's like when you're building a house and you find out some of the wood is rotten. You can't use rotten wood or the whole house will fall down. You have to take it out and use good, strong wood instead. That's what we did. We took out the rotten parts and built something better, something stronger, something that will last forever because it's built on love and truth instead of lies and meanness. My mommy says I'm brave, but I think she's the brave one. She said no to people who were hurting us even though they were supposed to love us. She built a whole company by herself while taking care of me. She helps other families have homes. She showed me that being strong doesn't mean being mean. It means protecting the people you love and building something good from something bad. So that's what I learned. Families aren't about blood, they're about choice. And every day all these people choose to love us and we choose to love them back. That's the best kind of family there is. The end. P.S. Great-grandma says our family is so big now we need a bigger table for next Christmas. Mommy says we'll build one together. I can't wait. There wasn't a dry eye in the room when she finished. The mayor was openly weeping. Tom Patterson had to excuse himself to compose himself. Even the kids at the children's table had stopped giggling to listen. "Come here, baby," I said, opening my arms. Emma ran to me and I held her tight. "Did I do good, Mommy?" "You did perfect." As the evening wound down and guests started leaving, each one stopped to hug us to whisper words of love and support. The house that had felt so empty when we first moved in now overflowed with warmth and laughter. Later, after everyone had gone home and Emma was asleep, I stood on the deck looking out at the city lights. This time last year, I'd been broke, exhausted, and alone, except for Emma. Now I ran a thriving company, lived in a beautiful home, and had a family that sprawled across the entire city. My phone buzzed with a text. It was a screenshot from James. The Christmas Eve livestream had just passed 10 million views. The comments were still coming, people sharing their own stories of chosen families and survived betrayals. We'd accidentally created a movement. But the best part was Emma's final comment to her followers posted just before bed. "Thank you for watching our story. If someone in your family is being mean to you, remember you can build a new family. You can choose people who choose you back. You can make something beautiful from something broken. My mommy and I did it, and you can too. Love Emma, and my mommy says to like and subscribe and share because that helps other people see our story, and maybe it will help them too." 47,000 likes and counting. I smiled thinking about that horrible Christmas Eve that had changed everything. My parents had thought they were punishing us by rejecting Emma. Instead, they'd freed us to find our real family. They'd thought they were stealing our future by trying to take my company. Instead, they'd revealed a community ready to support and celebrate us. Sometimes the worst moments in our lives are actually doors opening to something better. Sometimes the family that rejects you is just clearing the path for the family you're meant to find. Sometimes a 7-year-old's innocent live stream can change the world one view at a time. I went inside, checked on Emma one more time, then climbed into my own bed in our house that we'd built with our own hands and filled with chosen love. Tomorrow we had 3 more houses to break ground on for the affordable housing project. Tomorrow, Emma had her piano recital, where half the city would show up to cheer for her. Tomorrow, we'd continue building our empire of kindness, one family at a time. But tonight we were home, really truly finally home. And that was the greatest gift of all.